Hey, hey, hey. Hello, everybody. It is day 2 of my 365 days of live. And today we are going to be talking about standards and convictions and why it's important to have them. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Bonita Jenkins, and I am the creator of JenkinsHelps.org. That is my website. I would love for you, love for you to check it out. What you're going to find on that page is a lot of information about your family life, business life, and also, of course, my faith. My faith, I'm a Christian, I'm a Baptist to be specific. So of course, anything that I do, you're gonna have Jesus in the midst. It's just how it works. So I definitely want you guys to check that out. My website is all about teaching families or individuals that want to have a family at some point, teaching them how to have a nice balance of their family life and their business life, all wrapped around their faith. So it is definitely possible to have a good family life and also have a very successful business life as well. My family has been doing it for years and loving it. So please check me out at JenkinsHelps.org, and hopefully you guys have taken some time to watch some of the videos on the page as well. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into today's topic: standards and convictions. Why in the world are we talking about this today? Why not is the best question. Why not talk about this in today's day and age? It needs to be talked about every day. It needs to be shouted for the rooftops that we need to have standards and convictions. It's so important. So first, let's go ahead and define both of those terms. So standards are a level of quality or attainment. And when I say convictions, I mean a firmly held belief or opinion. So if you have a conviction, and let me state some of my convictions, most of my really strong convictions come from the Bible, and it comes from a very strong foundation of the Bible, and that's why I have that conviction. That's why I have that strong belief or opinion, and it's unwavering. I'm telling you, it is unwavering. It is built into my DNA. So that's why I would have some of my very strong beliefs. And then standards, once you have your convictions, then you can have certain levels, certain tiers of that conviction. I'll give you an example of a conviction of my family. My family believes that girls should not wear mini skirts. That's a conviction of mine. And I pass it on to my girls, teaching them that. And I firmly believe that from the Bible, because I believe that the Bible teaches that we should dress in modesty and we also should cover our nakedness. So I'm not going to preach to you guys, but that's definitely something you might want to study out. And therefore, my girls, we don't wear, and myself included, we don't wear mini skirts. Okay. So, and my personal standard on that is just that it goes down to the knee, and even to the point that when they sit down, when they're sitting down, it still needs to come down to the knee, if that makes sense. Because, sometimes certain skirts that you wear, you sit down and then you all of a sudden have on a mini skirt. And we don't do that. We don't do the mini skirts. So that one honestly is a newfound belief from, and it came from reading God's word, understanding God's word, and comprehending it, and then developing that new conviction that I have with that. But before, if you would have met me, I don't know, 6 years ago, maybe even less than that, I had no conviction in that, regard. Short shorts were cool, short skirts were cool, all that was cool. So when you do gain a conviction, it's good to know why, especially if you're trying to pass that on to your children. It's good to have a reason why. And the more solid that reason, the more likely your children are to obey that even when they get older, if that makes sense. And those standards as well. So that's one of mine, one of my convictions, one of my standards. What are some of your convictions and standards? I'd love to hear those. Definitely comment down below some convictions and standards that you have. But why is it important to have convictions and standards in this world, just in general? It's important to have because there is this old saying that says, what is it? It says, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything. something like that. I could be butchering that saying, but hopefully you get the gist of it. So if you don't have any standards, guess what? There's a whole line of people that are going to line up to tell you what you should be doing, what you should be believing, whatever. So it's good to have like a starting point and a starting line so that you're just not getting just pushed all over the place into places that you're just completely uncomfortable with. Okay, so that's why having some kind of standards, some kind of convictions in the first place is just a good idea. And I'm going to give you three things that I think go with having standards and convictions. Number one is determine what your standards and convictions are before you are tested or confronted with these things. So let's say you have a conviction for alcohol. I personally have a conviction for alcohol. I believe that the Bible teaches that we shouldn't drink it, so I don't drink it. And I know that there's so many other Christians that say, well, I believe that the Bible does teach that. So, whatever. That's their conviction. This is my conviction. I firmly, firmly, firmly believe it. And therefore, your girl doesn't drink alcohol. Therefore, my kids, that's what's being taught to them as well. And they're part of me. So it's definitely okay for me to teach that to my kids. We're supposed to teach our kids things that, we think will help them and not harm them, of course, right? So that is one of mine. So before I'm, at a bar, well, I don't go to bars, a restaurant. I'll say a restaurant, and my friends walk over with a drink. Before I'm tested with that, and that's in front of me, I've already purposed in my heart, right? I already have this belief, this conviction that I'm not drinking alcohol. So now when my friend brings something over to me, it's easy for me to say, or maybe it's not easy, I don't know, depending on, the level of peer pressure, right? Some people can lay it on thick. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm saying, absolutely no, I'm not drinking that, right? No matter how fruity, no matter how much they say, oh, it tastes just like Kool-Aid, whatever, I already know I ain't drinking it, right? You're wasting your breath. So, so that's a good thing to do. So if you are, just getting into this, you didn't have any convictions, you didn't have any standards before you watch this video, it's good to come up with some and write them down and start to really maybe even play out some things in your mind and say, if this happens, I'm going to stand firm to what I said. I'm going to do that before the thing happens. Another good one that I can think of is abstaining from, the relationship that a husband and wife have. That's the cleanest way I could say it. So abstaining from that relationship, a way to make sure that you determine that before you are tested with it is to not put yourself in those type of situations. Don't, get in a car by yourself with a gentleman that you are really attracted to, right? Don't get in the back seat, right? Don't go to dark places. Don't go over somebody's house for a date. A date is not in the house. Don't go to someone's bedroom. So determine those things before you're tested with it, and then also don't put yourself in compromising positions. So that's a good rule of thumb. Okay, number 2 is don't compromise your standards. Don't compromise your standards. Don't start making deals with the devil, right? On your standards. If it's a standard, if it's a conviction too, don't compromise it. Going back to the skirt thing, if I'm saying it got to be to the knee, I can't start saying it has to be fingertip length, and I can't start saying, well, I don't know. In the summertime, it could be a little shorter, and then, the situational ethics start coming into play. So don't become a compromiser. Determine where you stand, determine where your line is, and don't cross it. Hello. Hi, Angela Jackson. Hello, Bobo. It's funny. I'll tell you guys a secret. That was my nickname for a long time. So I got to wonder if you're trolling me right now. Because my family used to call me that forever. That does not mean that you guys get to call me that. Don't. We're over that nickname. We've moved on. Okay, we've matured from now from that. We're not even going with that nickname anymore. Thank you, Bubba. I appreciate that. So back to what I was saying, guys. Don't compromise on your standard. If it's your standard, it's your standard, and that's just what it is. So don't let anybody make you feel bad because you have standards. I would rather have standards, low standards, medium standards, high standards, as long as I have some standards. Do you not know that there are so many people in 2018 that have zero standards? I mean, anything goes. Absolutely anything goes. And because we know that now, we know that some people just don't have any kind of standards. They never talked about it. They never thought about it, right? It makes it even more important for you to have standards and for you to teach that to your kids because they're running into Joe and Jill and all these people that haven't been taught any standards. So imagine the craziness that could come from their minds, right? Or the darkness of their heart, one of the two. So definitely don't compromise on your standards. And my last thing, number 3, this is the one that I had to learn the hard way. I mean, I had to run into walls. I had to have books thrown at me. I had to put a muzzle on my mouth. This one is the hard one for me, and I still deal with it today. Because sometimes when your convictions are so strong and your standards are a specific place, when other people don't have that same one, it's really easy to say, you need to be where I am. And that's not right. And it took a while, but I get that now. So my number 3 thing is don't impose your standards on other people. Don't impose your standards on other people. And let me tell you why. Because it ain't none of your business. Okay? It ain't none of your business. And I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself too. I am talking to myself too. Okay? It's none of my business what they are doing in their personal lives. It don't involve me. It don't involve me. It doesn't involve my kids. It doesn't involve my husband. And as long as those 3 things are true statements, I need to just stay out of it. And I'm going to give the same advice to you. You need to just stay out of it. I know. That's a hard pill to swallow. I know. I had to swallow it too. I had that same elephant pill that you just swallowed just now. I swallowed it too. And it's still the truth. It's still reality that we just need to mind our own business, set our standards, set our convictions, and it is what it is. And we don't have to impose that on other people. And that's okay. All right. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. Hopefully that made sense. And one more thing, I want to make that a little bit more practical for you because I don't know if I gave you an example of that. So I want to make sure that I don't just skip over that last thing because this one was really big for me. So I don't want to just skip over it. So I'll give you an example. If you have a standard of, let's just go back to one of the ones that I've already said. You have a standard of no mini skirts, okay? And then let's say a friend, a family member comes over and they have on a mini skirt. It is not your job to be like, you need to go and change clothes. Been there, done that, got a t-shirt, okay? It doesn't go over well. It doesn't go over well. Even if they go and change, it still don't go over well because they're going to talk about you to the rest of the family. Yeah, you don't want those problems. It's just not worth it. Just know that you and that person have 2 different standards, and that's okay. It's not your job to try to raise their standards because true to life, somebody somewhere has higher standards than you on other issues that, you feel aren't even a big deal, but they're like, their standards on that issue is up here. And I know that's true in my life for a lot of my friends, So it's not our job to make people feel horrible about themselves. It's just not. So I would say one more rule of thumb when it comes to not imposing, your standards on other people. Also, don't allow other people to try to impose their standards on you. And that's another one that runs into my life really hard and really fast a lot of times because I have to stand for things. And I guess that goes back to don't compromise. I have to stand for things when, just nobody else is with me on that one. We're not on the same page at all. And that's okay too. Fight for things that you believe in. Know that some things are even worth dying for, right? Some standards, some things are worth just absolutely leaving this planet for, you know? So you just got to know what those things are and stick to your guns. Don't impose your things on other people, and also don't put yourself in harm's way. So if you have a standard, you have a conviction, don't put yourself in compromising positions. All right, guys. So I'm going to end it for real this time. And if you got something out of this, yay, definitely hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, comment down below. Oh, and don't forget to click the bell. If you click the bell, you'll know when I'm going live every day. And it's going to be awesome because I got some great topics lined up for us to discuss. And please don't forget to check out my website, jenkinshelps.org. And I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Oh, one more thing. I got a lot of these points from a great sermon that I watched, and it was awesome because I was dealing with some things and I was like, click, I'm going to watch this sermon. So if you would like to see the sermon that I saw, I will be more than happy to send it to you. Just comment down below, send me that sermon, or send me an email, jenkinshelps@gmail.com. And if there's a way to inbox on here, I ain't figured it out yet. But if you know how to, send me an inbox. I don't know how to do it, but I'll find it. All right, you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.